Welcome back to our channel.
Hello everyone, I am Lisa.
And I'm Eric. If you're looking to improve your English in an easy way, you're in the right place.
So grab a snack, sit back, and let's dive into today's topic. Okay, Eric, what are the words today?
The first word today is apparently. Then we will continue with grumpy and be willing to do something. Then to call off. And the final one is go the extra mile.
Let's start with the first word, Eric.
The first word is apparently.
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 Great. Let's explain apparently to our listeners.
Sure, Lisa. Apparently is an adverb we use when we're talking about something that seems to be true, but we're not completely sure about it. We often use apparently when we're sharing information we've heard from someone else or based on what we can see. Let me give an example sentence. Apparently, the new restaurant in town is really good. It means that you've heard that the new restaurant is good, but you haven't tried it yourself and are not 100% certain about it.
Here's my example. The street is wet. Apparently, it rained last night. It means that you can see the street is wet, so you think it probably rained last night. You didn't see the rain yourself, but you're making a guess based on what you can see now.
Now, let's talk about how to use apparently in sentences. We usually put it at the beginning or in the middle of a sentence. For example, apparently the shop is closed, or the shop is apparently closed.
Good point, Eric. Now, let's listen to a short dialogue using apparently.
Hey Emma, did you hear about the school dance?
No, what about it?
Apparently it's been canceled.
Really? Why?
I'm not sure, but apparently there's a problem with the venue.
That's too bad. I was looking forward to it.
That was a good dialogue. Mike wasn't completely sure about the information, so he used apparently to show that.
Exactly. Eric, did you ever use apparently when you were wrong about something?
Yes, I have. Once I said, apparently it's going to snow tomorrow, but it ended up being a sunny day.
Oh, that's funny. The weather can be hard to predict. Have you ever heard any funny stories that start with apparently?
Actually, yes. Once my friend told me, apparently my cat can open the fridge. I didn't believe it until I saw it myself.
Wow, that's an amazing cat. It's interesting how we often use apparently for surprising or unusual information, isn't it?
Definitely. It's a useful word for sharing information we're not totally sure about.
I agree. It helps us talk about things without saying they're definitely true.
That's a good point, Lisa. Apparently is a great word for our listeners to use when they want to share information but aren't 100% certain.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we have time for with apparently. Let's move on to our next word.
The next word is grumpy.
Grumpy.
Grumpy. Grumpy is an adjective that describes someone in a bad mood or easily annoyed. We use it when someone is not happy and might complain a lot. We often use grumpy to describe how someone is feeling, usually for a short time. Now, let me give an example sentence. My dad is always grumpy in the morning before he has his coffee.
It means that your dad is in a bad mood and might be easily annoyed in the morning until he drinks his coffee. He's not pleasant to be around during this time.
Exactly. Now, it's your turn, Lisa. Can you give us another example?
Sure. Here's my example. The baby is grumpy because she didn't sleep well last night.
Great sentence. It means that the baby is fussy and unhappy because she didn't get enough sleep. She might cry more easily or be harder to please than usual.
That's right, Eric. Now, let's talk about how to use grumpy in a sentence. We can say to be grumpy or to feel grumpy. For example, he is grumpy today, or I'm feeling grumpy because of the bad weather.
Good point, Lisa. Now let's listen to a short dialogue using grumpy.
Hi, Tom. How are you today?
Not great. I'm feeling really grumpy.
Oh no. Why are you grumpy?
I didn't sleep well and I have a lot of work to do.
I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe some fresh air will help you feel better.
That was a good dialogue. Eric, do you ever feel grumpy?
Sometimes, yes. I can be grumpy if I'm hungry or have to wake up very early.
I understand that. What do you do to feel better when you're grumpy?
I try to eat something or take a short nap. Those usually help me feel better. What about you, Lisa? What makes you grumpy?
I can get grumpy when I'm stuck in traffic or when it's too hot outside.
Those are good ways to improve your mood. It's interesting how different things can make people grumpy.
Yes, it is. And it's important to remember that everyone feels grumpy sometimes. It's a normal emotion.
That's true. We should try to understand when and why others are grumpy and manage our own grumpy moods.
Absolutely. Well, that's all we have time for with grumpy. Let's explain our next word.
The next word is be willing to do something. Be willing to do something means to be happy or ready to do something. It shows that you agree to do it without being forced. For example, she is willing to help with the project.
It means that she is happy or ready to help with the project.
That's right. Here's another example. He was willing to stay late to finish the work.
It means that he agreed to stay late to finish the work and was ready to do it without any pressure.
Exactly. Now, let's briefly discuss some grammar related to the word. Be willing to is followed by the infinitive form of the verb. For example, I am willing to learn English, or they were willing to wait.
Great. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase, be willing to do something.
Hi, Emma. I need some help with my math homework. Are you willing to help me?
Of course. I'm always willing to help with math. What do you need?
Thanks. I don't understand these questions. Would you be willing to explain them to me?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Let's look at them together.
That was a good dialogue, Eric. Emma was willing to help Mark with his math homework.
Yes, that's right. She agreed to help without any problem. She even said she's always willing to help with math. Lisa, have you ever been willing to do something special?
Yes, I was willing to volunteer at a local animal shelter on weekends. How about you, Eric?
I was willing to help my friend move to a new house last month. Do you think being willing to help others is important?
Yes, it shows kindness and support, which are important in any relationship. What do you think?
I agree. Being willing to help others strengthens our connections and builds trust. Lisa, anything else you want to add about our phrase today?
Remember that be willing to do something means being happy or ready to do something without being forced. It's a useful phrase to show agreement and readiness.
Good explanation. Okay, let's continue with the next word. The next word is call off.
Call off.
Call off.
Call off is a phrasal verb. It means to cancel something that was planned.
Here's an example sentence. We had to call off the meeting because the manager was sick.
It means that we had to cancel the meeting because the manager was sick.
Here's another example. They decided to call off the picnic due to the rain.
It means that they decided to cancel the picnic because of the rain.
Now, let's briefly discuss some grammar related to call off. This phrase is a phrasal verb and is often followed by a noun, such as meeting or picnic. For example, call off the event or call off the trip.
Great. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase call off. In this dialogue, we'll have two friends, John and Maria, talking about their weekend plans.
Did you hear that they called off the concert?
Really? Why did they call it off?
Apparently, the lead singer is sick.
That's too bad. I was really looking forward to it.
Me too. I guess we'll have to find something else to do.
Now, let's talk about our dialogue. Lisa, what do you think about the situation with the concert?
Well, based on the dialogue, the concert was called off because the lead singer was sick. Both John and Maria had been looking forward to it. But now, they were disappointed. What do you think about their reaction?
Their reaction is understandable. Sometimes it might be disappointing when plans are cancelled. Have you ever had to call off something, Lisa?
Yes, I had to call off a trip once because of bad weather. How about you, Eric?
I had to call off a meeting because of a last-minute emergency. Do you think it's important to let people know early when something is called off?
Yes, informing people early helps them change their plans accordingly.
I agree. It shows consideration and helps avoid confusion. Do you know any other phrases that mean the same as call off?
Yes, phrases like cancel and abort have similar meanings.
Okay, I think we have explained call off fairly enough. Now, let's move on to the last word of today.
What's the last word of today, Eric?
The last word today is go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile.
Go the extra mile. Go the extra mile is an idiom. It means to make a special effort to achieve something or do more than expected. For example, she always goes the extra mile to help her customers.
It means that she makes a special effort to help her customers, doing more than what is expected.
Exactly, Lisa. Here's another example. If you want to succeed, you need to go the extra mile in your work.
It means that to be successful, you need to put in extra effort and do more than what is required.
Absolutely. Now, let's briefly discuss some grammar related to go the extra mile. This phrase is an idiom and is used with the verb go in different tenses. For example, go the extra mile in the present tense and went the extra mile in the past tense.
Great. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the phrase go the extra mile.
Have you noticed how Sarah always goes the extra mile at work?
Yes, she really puts in a lot of effort. Like last week, she stayed late to finish the project.
That's true. I think that's why everyone respects her so much.
Definitely. She sets a great example by always going the extra mile.
Now, let's talk about our dialogue. Lisa, what do you think about Sarah's behavior at work?
Based on the dialogue, Sarah makes a special effort to do her job well, and it's noticed and appreciated by her coworkers. What do you think about the impact of going the extra mile?
I think going the extra mile can really make a difference in what people think about you and can lead to greater respect and success. Have you ever gone the extra mile for something, Lisa?
Yes, I once stayed up all night to help a friend prepare for an important presentation. How about you, Eric?
I helped organize a surprise birthday party for a friend by making decorations and planning games. Do you think going the extra mile is always necessary?
Not always, but it can be very rewarding and help build strong relationships.
I agree. It shows dedication and can make you stand out. Do you know any other phrases that mean the same as go the extra mile?
Yes, phrases like go above and beyond and put in extra effort have similar meanings.
Exactly. Remember that go the extra mile means making a special effort to achieve something or doing more than what is expected. It's a useful phrase to show dedication and hard work.
That's right. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. We hope you enjoyed learning with us.
Remember to study the new words and phrases we've discussed.
Don't forget to tune in next time for more simple explanations and useful examples.
Thanks for listening and keep improving your English one word at a time.
See you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
the podcast where we make learning English easy and fun. I am Lisa.
And I am Eric. We explain common English words and phrases in simple language in each episode.
So let's start and make English simple together. Okay, what are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is ambitious. Then we will continue with ultimately and to suspend. Then to stick around. And the final one is to be on the go.
Okay, let's start with the first word, Eric.
The first word is ambitious.
Ambitious.
Ambitious. Ambitious means having a strong desire to be successful, achieve goals, or reach a high position in life.
That's right, Eric. When we say someone is ambitious, we mean they want to do great things and work hard to reach their goals.
Exactly. Now, let me give an example sentence. Sarah is very ambitious. She wants to become the CEO of a big company. It means that Sarah has big dreams and is working hard to reach a top position in a company.
Good example. Here's another one. My brother is ambitious about his music career. He practices guitar every day. It means that my brother really wants to succeed in music, so he works hard and practices a lot.
Great. It's important to note that we often use ambitious with the preposition about when talking about a specific area or goal. For example, he is ambitious about his studies.
We can also use ambitious with to, followed by a verb. For example, she is ambitious to start her own business.
Now, let's listen to a short dialogue using the word ambitious.
Hey, Emma. What are your plans after graduation?
I'm quite ambitious, actually. I want to start my own tech company.
Wow, that's really ambitious. Do you think it will be difficult?
Yes, but I'm determined. I've always been ambitious about my career.
That was a nice dialogue, Eric. I noticed they used ambitious twice. Once to describe Emma's big goal and once to talk about her attitude towards her career.
You're right, Lisa. What do you think about being ambitious? Is it always a good thing?
That's an interesting question, Eric. I think being ambitious can be good because it helps people work hard and achieve their dreams. But sometimes, very ambitious people might forget about other important things in life, like family or relaxation.
I agree with you, Lisa. It's important to have a balance. Do you know anyone who is very ambitious?
Yes, I do. My friend Jake is very ambitious. He wants to become a famous chef. He's always trying new recipes and entering cooking competitions.
That sounds exciting. How does Jake work on his ambition?
Well, he practices cooking every day. He also watches many cooking shows and reads cookbooks to learn new things.
That's a great example of ambitious people working hard to reach their goals.
I agree. Well, I think that's all we have time for with the word ambitious. Shall we move on to our next word?
Yes, let's do that. The next word is ultimately.
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 Great choice. What does ultimately mean, Eric?
It means in the end or finally. You use it when you are talking about the final result of something. Now, let's give some example sentences. Ultimately, they decided to move to a bigger house. It means that in the end, after thinking about it, they choose to live in a larger house.
Perfect. The second example. She studied hard and ultimately passed the exam. It means that because she worked hard, she finally passed the test.
Good job, Lisa. Now, let's talk a bit about the grammar of ultimately. It's an adverb, so it usually goes before the verb or at the end of a sentence. You don't need to use any special prepositions with it.
Right, it's quite simple to use. How about we give a short dialogue using ultimately?
Sure. Let's set the scene. Jane and Tom are friends talking about their weekend plans.
Hey, Tom. What are you doing this weekend?
I'm not sure yet. I have a lot to do. But ultimately, I think I will visit my parents.
That sounds nice. Spending time with family is important.
Yes, I agree. What about you, Jane?
I have some work, but ultimately, I will relax at home.
That sounds like a good plan.
That was a nice dialogue. So, Eric, do you think Tom made the right choice?
Yes, I think so. Visiting family is always a good idea. What do you think, Lisa?
I agree. Family time is very important. And Jane's plan to relax at home is good too. It's important to relax.
Yes, we all need some rest. Do you use ultimately, Lisa?
Sometimes, especially when I talk about decisions. How about you?
Yes, I use it when I talk about final results. It's a very useful word.
Absolutely. And it's easy to use in sentences.
I agree. Okay, I think we covered it well. I hope our listeners find it easy to use ultimately now.
Yes, I hope so too, Eric. Okay, let's move on to our next word. What's the next word, Eric?
The next word is to suspend.
To suspend.
To suspend. To suspend is a verb. It means to stop something temporarily or to prevent someone from participating in an activity for a while. For example, the teacher decided to suspend the class due to the snowstorm.
It means that the teacher stopped the class temporarily because of the snowstorm.
Here's another example. The student was suspended for breaking the school rules.
It means that the student was prevented from attending school for a period of time because they broke the rules.
Now, let's briefly discuss some grammar related to suspend. This verb is often followed by a noun or pronoun. For example, to suspend the game or to suspend him.
Great. Now, let's have a short dialogue using the word suspend. In this dialogue, we'll have two friends, Tom and Sarah, talking about their soccer practice.
Did you hear that? The coach decided to suspend practice for the week?
Yes, I heard. Apparently the field is too muddy to use.
That's too bad. I was looking forward to it.
Me too. But it's better to wait until the field is safe. At least it's just suspended and not canceled.
Now, let's talk about our dialogue. Lisa, what do you think about the coach's decision to suspend practice?
Based on the dialogue, the coach suspended practice because the field was too muddy, which made sense for safety reasons. What do you think about Tom and Sarah's reaction?
Tom and Sarah are disappointed but understand the reason for suspending practice. Have you ever experienced something being suspended, Lisa?
Yes, my flight was once suspended due to bad weather. How about you, Eric?
My gym membership was suspended during the pandemic. Lisa, do you think suspending activities is sometimes necessary?
Yes. Suspending activities can be necessary for safety or other important reasons.
I agree. It's better to suspend something temporarily than to risk harm or failure. Do you know any other words that mean the same as to suspend?
Yes, words like postpone, delay, and interrupt have similar meanings. Okay, anything else you want to add about the word today, Eric?
Just remember that to suspend means to stop something temporarily or to prevent someone from participating in an activity for a while. It's a useful word to know in many situations.
That's right, Eric. Well, let's continue with the next word.
Okay, the next word is to stick around.
To stick around.
To stick around.
What does to stick around mean, Eric?
It is a phrasal verb. It means to stay somewhere and not leave. It's often used when you want to stay in a place for a bit longer.
That's right. To stick around is an informal phrase, and we often use it in casual conversations.
Yes, Lisa. Let me give an example sentence. After the meeting, I decided to stick around and talk to my colleagues. It means that after the meeting was finished, I chose to stay and chat with my colleagues.
That's a good example. I'll give another one. You should stick around for the party. It's going to be fun. It means you should stay for the party because it will be enjoyable.
Now, let's have a sample dialogue to show how to stick around can be used in a conversation.
Hey, Lisa, are you leaving the park soon?
No, I think I'll stick around for a bit longer. What about you?
Me too. I want to stick around and watch the sunset. It's really beautiful here.
That sounds like a good idea. Let's stick around together and enjoy the view.
That was a nice example, Eric. The phrase stick around was used twice in our conversation.
Yes, and it shows how we can use it in different sentences. Now, let's have a friendly chat about the dialogue.
Sure.
So, Lisa, why did Mark want to stick around and watch the sunset?
Well, I think sunsets are really beautiful and relaxing. What about Sarah?
I think she wanted to enjoy the nice weather and spend more time outside. It's always nice to relax at the park.
That's right.
Lisa, do you often stick around places after events?
Sometimes. If I'm having a good time or if I want to talk to friends, I like to stick around. How about you?
I do too, especially if the place is nice or if there are interesting people to talk to. It makes the experience better.
Absolutely. It's always fun to stick around and enjoy the moment. Well, I think we have explained to stick around very well today.
Yes, I agree. I hope our listeners found it helpful and now feel more confident using to stick around in their conversations.
All right, let's move on to our last word of today. What's the last word, Eric?
The last word today is on the go.
On the go.
On the go. Let's explain on the go to our listeners. This phrase means being busy, active, and moving from place to place. It's used to describe someone who doesn't have much free time and is always doing something or going somewhere.
That's right. We use this phrase when we want to talk about people who are very busy or always moving. Now, let me give an example sentence. Sarah is always on the go, rushing from work to the gym and then to meet friends. It means that Sarah is very busy and active. She goes from one activity to another without much rest or free time.
Here's my example. As a busy mom, I often eat breakfast on the go. It means that the mom is so busy that she doesn't have time to sit down for breakfast. She probably eats while traveling or doing other things.
Good point, Eric. Now let's listen to a short dialogue using on the go.
Hi, Emma. Want to grab lunch today?
Sorry, Tom, I'm on the go all day. I have back-to-back meetings.
Wow, you're really busy. Do you ever take a break?
Not often. Being on the go is normal for me during the work week.
Maybe we can meet for coffee sometime when you're less on the go?
That sounds great. I'll check my schedule and let you know.
That was a useful dialogue, Eric. Emma was too busy to have lunch because she was on the go all day.
Yes, that's right. She had many meetings and didn't have time for a proper lunch break.
Exactly. Eric, are you often on the go?
Sometimes, especially during the work week, I usually have a busy schedule with work, errands, and exercise. What about you, Lisa?
I'm not always on the go, but I have busy days too. I like to have some quiet time at home to relax.
That's a good balance. Do you think it's healthy to always be on the go?
I don't think it's healthy all the time. It's important to have rest and relaxation too. What do you think?
I agree. Being on the go can be exciting, but we also need time to rest and recharge.
That's true. On the go is a useful phrase for our listeners to describe busy, active lifestyles.
Absolutely. It's a common expression in English for talking about busy schedules and active people.
Well said, Eric. All right, we've reached the end of our episode today.
Yes, that's all for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you found it helpful and fun.
Please subscribe and like the video and practice the words of today.
Join us next time for more simple explanations of English words and phrases.
Until then, keep practicing and keep learning. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.